Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of 4K Motoring. I'm Chris, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the 2022 Ducati Multistrada today. Today I want to talk about the navigation issues I've been having with my 2022 Multistrada and what I've done to try and solve them and what I think works the best bang for the buck wise. Well guys, I've tried a couple things to get my Pixel 6 Pro to again pair to the navigation on the Ducati Multistrada. Now, those of you that have one of these or are aware of one of these, what the Ducati has is a system called Ducati Connect, and it's based off a Bosch, Wi-Fi connection module that has a lot of limitations as far as what apps work with it and what it's capable of communicating with. So, there's an app that you have to download on your phone called Ducati Connect. This app should allow you, once connected to Bluetooth on the bike, allows you to make a Wi-Fi connection similar to wireless Android Auto or Apple CarPlay for some other vehicles. Unlike the wireless Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, you can't just leave your phone in your pocket and have the system connect. You have to unlock your phone, keep the screen on, open the Ducati Connect app, and ensure that your screen stays on and your phone stays unlocked for it to maintain connection. This just seems super antiquated for a 2022 vehicle. I'm kind of surprised Ducati did that. Furthermore, the navigation they've used is a proprietary Cygic navigation system that is its own app that you can download. There's a premium version and a free version. They say they use Google Maps as far as their data points, so like the map itself is based off what Google has on their database, but they use a whole different navigation algorithm and it works a little bit differently. And I gotta say, I'm not really a fan. As you guys may have seen on my iron butt video, about halfway through the iron butt ride we were doing, my phone stopped pairing with it. It no longer would connect via Wi-Fi and I lost navigation. This was kind of an issue. I had to switch to just audio only navigation using Google Maps on my phone, tucked in that little cubby hole just linked to my Cardo to get me through. That worked actually better than the Cygic navigation did while being displayed on the screen. I'm not super thrilled with the navigation. I'm not going to say it's totally garbage, but I'd say I would expect a whole lot more for a near $30,000 bike, especially in the year 2022. Ducati, if you're listening, I really hope you fix this in upcoming models. I think an Android Auto, Apple CarPlay wireless system would serve you well and make your customer base a whole lot happier. That said, I did need to find another alternative for navigation. What I was considering getting was a Garmin Zuma XT. If you guys have seen these things, it's kind of the latest from Garmin as far as their motorcycle specific stuff. It's fully waterproof, it's shockproof, it's able to be on a motorcycle, be left out. And there are mounts that go right above the windshield here that would mount that unit horizontally right next to the Ducati dashboard. And that would give you navigation all the time. It'd be wired into the bike, it'd be full-time navigation with the bike, and you can also pair that in secondary to a Cardo communicator or Sena, something like that. Will take your phone and a GPS. That really got me thinking, and specifically I was thinking how I interact both with the Cardo unit, which has the natural voice operation, so you can say the Google keywords or Siri keywords to have it bring up the assistant on your phone just wirelessly, just by voice, and stuff like that is super convenient, especially if you're riding and all of a sudden want to navigate somewhere. You can just talk to your either Google Assistant or Siri, whatever, and get there. And your phone will adapt to it, and that makes it super easy. The Garmin, to my knowledge, doesn't do that. So there's some input required, either via the app on your phone or hand control on the Garmin to put in a destination and have it route you. While this is generally probably not a big deal, it's not really any different than the Cygic navigation that was on the bike, and it seems to have pretty good maps. It's not cellular reliant, and it has a lot of pluses that it can give you. It's not exactly what I wanted, and it's not exactly what I'm used to as far as riding and just navigating. What I wanted to do was just to, again, mount my phone on the handlebars like I had on previous motorcycles. My phone being IP68 rated, it's fine to be waterproof, it's fine to be outside, it's got a case on it anyway, not worried about it being in the environment. My old bike, I had a Ram Mount X grip on it, and I loved it. It was on there for 8 years. It was great. The urethane ball was starting to split after 8 years, but those things are not that expensive. They're about 50, 60 bucks for the whole X-Grip setup with the handlebar mount. So that was a route I was planning on going. The one problem I had with that unit that I wanted to upgrade was that I had an actual USB cord plugged into the bottom of my phone on that old X-Grip, and it worked most of the time, but in wet conditions, that USB port would sometimes get wet, and the cord itself would get wet. There was a little bit of oxidation that would happen to it, but plugging it in, I was worried that water would get in there where it was charging and cause an issue. So I wanted something a little different. What I found was the RAM X-Grip wireless charging unit. It basically has a lot of the same features of the RAM mount that I had. Same handlebar mount, same sort of adjustment mechanism, and overall, it's very easy to use. This one is to be hardwired into the bike. It's got its own wireless charging head on it, so you don't have to worry about plugging your phone in anymore. It'll just stay charged. And that seemed like exactly what I was looking for this bike. So here on the handlebars, I mounted the new RAM X-Grip wireless charger head. Overall, the installation was pretty easy of this unit. It's a 10 watt, up to 10 watt wireless charger, so it doesn't quite keep up with the max charging rate of some of the new phones, being 23 watts for the Google Pixel 6, and even some of the other phones are even higher as far as wireless charging. But 10 watts seems like it's a pretty reasonable, not going to overheat your phone, and keep up at least with the navigation draw that your phone would have. So I went with this system and mounted it just straight to the handlebars here. They've added these little tabs on it that let you grab below the rubber pieces, so you're not putting pressure on them and hopefully not slicing them open quite as quickly. If you've not mounted any other electronics to the front of the bike before, you should still have your accessory wire hidden behind the bike here. So what I did, behind this gray panel here, there are 3 screws to take out, and there's a wire behind here that is labeled SAT, for satellite, I'm assuming, navigation. It's an extra connector that has a 12 volt positive and ground that is running right alongside the wiring for this 12 volt plug right behind here. Using that, I was able to splice in and come up with the power that's needed for this RAM mount, and it was actually pretty easy to run the power through the bike. With that 12 volt wire behind here exposed and soldered into, I was able to run the power wire up, and you guys can probably see a little bit of it back here. That's the only spot it's really visible, and around the other side. This side over here has your wireless key fob sensor, and it's got this 12 volt outlet in it, so there's kind of a space premium on this side. This side over here allows you pretty easily to have all the wiring tucked up and out of the way. The kit itself comes with all you need to wire up a device like this. If you need to go from the battery, there's an SAE connector that comes with it that is doable for pretty much any bike, not just Multistrada specific. But if you already have a 12 volt ignition source power, which is what this is right up front, it's easy to grab that and just kind of run around. Again, all you need to take off is these 2 front black panels. You'll have plenty of room to do it. It's super easy. All the included zip ties let you keep the wiring pretty well tucked up. Just find a good spot like mine is here with a little bit of slack where you can turn the handlebars and not bunch anything up. That way you don't cause a bind while riding. The wiring for the X-Grip does have its own power button, so if you need it to turn it off for some reason, you have the option right there. But being as how this is a 12 volt switch source, ignition source for the Multistrada specifically, if you're using that satellite accessory wire that's behind the dash here, you don't really need that switch. You can just leave it on and the bike will handle the on-off of that particular charger. In terms of size, the RAM X-Grip with the wireless charger has a bottom kind of chin mount right under here that allows kind of a stable base for the phone to sit, and that's a new feature that my old one didn't have. This is the Google Pixel 6 Pro, and I'll put the measurements for that phone right here, that way you can compare your own. So that's what I have for you tonight. Again, this is the navigation solution I went with for the 2022 Ducati Multistrada. It makes me much happier than the Cigic navigation did. I do a whole lot better with the phone mounted as far as the navigation goes. And Google Maps just seems to work really well, at least on the Pixel series, for me and for my navigation needs. It is kind of disheartening spending all this money on a bike like this that's brand new, that's supposed to have these navigation abilities, that just doesn't work well. Very frustrating, but I think we found a good solution that at about $200 is definitely more than a standard ram mount would have been. Standard ram X Grip will probably run you $50 to $60 and they work great. There's lots of other options to get a phone mounted to the handlebars. Quad Lock has some. They have wireless charging heads as well of various prices. You have to be committed to their cases to make that work, but if you already have that ecosystem, then great. Anybody out there that has dealt with this before and switched to another navigation system for the Multistrada, I'd love to hear what you went to, whether it was a standalone GPS or phone GPS. I'd love to hear how it went for you, and if you're happy with the way you went, let me know down in the comments below. Might help some other people out here on the channel. That's all I have for you today. Again, thanks for watching 4K Motoring. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more content. We're slowly getting this Multistrada up to fully functional. It's a Ducati thing. If you've ever bought a new Ducati, you probably know there's always something you got to work through. So we're slowly getting there, getting to the point where it's going to be a reliable bike. We've got just about 5,000 miles on it at this point. Overall, really enjoying it. Thanks for watching 4K Motoring. I'm Chris, and we'll see you next time.